Every day is a great day to be a Hoosier, but today is a particularly great day, and I can confirm officially what I think all of you know, which is that Indiana University will be playing the Tennessee Volunteers in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl on January 2nd. We're thrilled about that. The executive director, Rick Catlett, called me about 4 o'clock to officially offer us that opportunity, and we immediately accepted that, and I called my boss, President Grabe, who was very pleased and was excited about the opportunity to go to Florida, and called Tom right after that. It's only our 4th bowl game in 25 years, but it will be our 3rd bowl game in the last 5 years, which I think reflects terrific momentum for this program, and we're excited by that. Also excited, first Florida Bowl ever for Indiana University. That's yet another first for Tom's team, and we're excited to be able to play in Florida, and only our 3rd time playing in January, when I think the eyes of the nation will particularly be on us. As we've emphasized to our new friends at the Gator Bowl, we have 23,000 alumni who live within 300 miles of Jacksonville, and that doesn't even include the snowbirds who are down there in the winter. So I think we'll have a lot of folks already there, if you will, as well as I expect that we'll travel great to the Gator Bowl, not only because it's in Florida, but also January 2nd, I think works very well for families. It was harder the day after Christmas in New York. It was harder in Santa Clara. This will be a much easier push for our folks. As many of you know, and as we emphasize also to the Gator Bowl folks, a Big Ten high 26 of our players are from Florida. That grows to 34 if you just include the surrounding states. I think that'll increase fan interest down there as well. So we're really excited to get another crack at the Volunteers. As you know, we played them close in 1988. The coach was telling me that Mark Hagan was on that team. So it'll be a payback time, particularly for him. And with that, I'll just turn it over to Tom and then be happy to answer any questions you all might have. Thank you.
Just want to start by saying just really very thankful and blessed and appreciate the opportunity that Fred and our administration has given me with our new contract, and just really, to me it's a testament to our whole staff and what all that they're doing and how hard everybody's working, and just the direction that we're going, and it gives us tremendous confidence in the backing that we have, and as we share with recruits, this is a very critical time of the year for that, and had many on campus this weekend, and just to be able to share the direction that we're going, and then the confidence in knowing that I'm going to be here for many years to come, and that gives parents a lot of peace in knowing that fact. So just really appreciate it, and want to also talk about the bowl opportunity. Just a tremendous reward for our players. They work so hard, and just to be able to go to this particular bowl, the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. I know we have a couple players that's being their home. With Devon Matthews and Khalil Bryant living in Jacksonville, and as Fred has mentioned, the many players in the southeast part of the country that we have on our roster, to be able to have them in a chance to play near their families, and then just to be able to have the first ever Florida Bowl opportunity is just pretty special, because of that state has been very, very important to us in recruiting. So just really proud of our young men, proud of our coaching staff, and just really thankful for the opportunity we've been given with this bowl and the chance to improve as a team, as we have a young team that can take advantage of these opportunities in practice and get better, and then go down there and try and get us a bowl win against a very good football team that's improved throughout the season, playing their best football at the end, and a lot of respect for the SEC and for Coach Pruitt and what he's doing there at Tennessee. So it's going to be a great opportunity, great challenge, and looking forward to it. Questions?
While we're going over there, I would just add my excitement for the new contract with Tom. It feels like we've moved on almost from that. It wasn't that long in the making, but thrilled to get that done. Reflects a huge commitment to Tom, huge commitment to Indiana University football, and I think very importantly, a deep commitment that transcends me, transcends the athletic department, reflects engagement and support from the president and the board of trustees as well, which I think also bodes well for the future of IU football.
Without wanting to ask about any other potential bowls, I think it seemed like the possibility of you guys sliding into one you've played in the recent past. Not wanting to offend anybody else, is there still, I guess, a level of satisfaction being able to give guys a new experience and a different bowl, a bowl that nobody's been to?
Oh, I think so. I think that, the majority of our guys have not played in a bowl game, but we do have some of our older guys that had played in a couple bowls that we could have been in play for. And so the chance to go to a new venue, new opportunity, new state, I think that, so this is every single guy on our team is playing in this bowl game for the very first time. So I think that makes it even more special.
Coach, I know obviously with your contract, you still had a few years left, but how big is it? I know recruiting, it's really, especially here, about relationships and telling guys you're going to be here for a while. How big has it been? You had visitors in this weekend, but going out and telling guys, I'm the coach at Indiana for, quite a while.
I don't think you can put a price tag on that. It's huge. And I think that, you get into your contract, you get into the point when you have a certain number of years left, and that becomes the question. Hey, are you going to be here? How long are you going to be here? And you get asked that a lot in the recruiting process. And now I can say with absolute confidence, this is what I just signed this contract at this particular time, and this is what it means. And I think there's no question it gives them tremendous confidence in the future. They just want to make sure that you're going to be the one coaching their son, the whole time that he's here at Indiana. And that has been put to rest with the new contract, and that's why it does. It means a lot, and it's a tremendous investment by our university in our football program, and that's why it's so important, and it's very much appreciated.
Just a footnote on that maybe is that while it's been mentioned, I think it's been maybe overlooked a little bit, that I think a really important component of that contract is what I loosely call the evergreen provision, where any year that Tom's team qualifies for a bowl game, another year gets added, which I think is also a commitment to the longevity and hopefully the security, and hopefully avoids the question of, Coach, you don't have very many years left, because my expectation is we won't get to that point. And that's something that, frankly, Tom's representatives didn't ask for. That's something I wanted, because I wanted to have that commitment out there. Again, an institutional commitment, not just an athletic department commitment.
Coach, the bowl in Jacksonville is very important for a lot of different reasons, but talk about the different benefits it's providing you besides being in Florida. It's the only game that night. There's no NFL game. There's no other bowl games. It is going to be Indiana, a 3-hour commercial.
Well, you're correct, and it's a national stage that you get to play on against a nationally recognized football program and a nationally recognized bowl. All those things combined in the time of year, as you mentioned, when we have a chance to be the one thing that everybody's watching when we're at home, and I just just being raised in the home of a coach and watching all these bowl games since I was young enough to remember, I just to me it just means a lot, because you just sit there and you dream of one day being in that situation, to be a part of one of those, either as a player or as a coach, and now to have that is pretty awesome, and I know our guys feel that way. And they said the location is huge. So many of our guys are from the Southeast, and they wanted a Florida Bowl really bad, and that you never know how it all is going to play out. There's a lot of variables that go into which bowl you get selected to play in. But I do know that just a great reward for a lot of hard work from a lot of individuals on our team, and the coaching staff and training staff and all the guys that have helped us, the recruiting staff and everyone. So I know, and the practices, you can't put a price tag on that either. We're a young football team, and to have those extra practices now are going to be huge for us. You basically have a whole extra set of spring practices in addition to what we'll have afterwards in April and May. So, and then the chance just to continue to build on the momentum that we have in recruiting, and to be able to get recruits to be able to watch us and just take advantage of all the benefits of being in a bowl in that time of the year when everybody else is sitting there watching.
I know you haven't had much notice that you're playing Tennessee, but they're one of the interesting stories this year, 5-game winning streak to end the season. Mm-hmm. Obviously a team that will probably travel well, I would think. Just talk about your opponent.
Well, have not watched them really on film. I saw a couple, when you're sitting watching games throughout certain Saturdays. I've seen a little bit of that, but not much. But I did know that they finished really strong, and we kind of recognize that that's about, doing a great job as a coaching staff, when you have a chance to improve and you play your best football at the end of the season, which is what you want to do, and that's a sign of a really well-coached team. And I know that Coach Pruitt is an excellent football coach himself, and has done a systematically very good job of rebuilding that program there. And I know that he has tremendous resume and been a lot of great places and coached a lot of great football teams. So a lot of respect for their program. Obviously, a ton of respect for that conference. Have been coaching it myself several years ago, and just understand that the kind of athletes that we're going to be playing against, and really excited for that challenge and that opportunity. So I know that don't have a lot of schematic thoughts about them yet because I haven't watched them, but we will start that process here real soon once we get through with recruiting and get our laptops rolling on all that information. So, but I do know that they're going to be a very well-coached team, very athletic football team, very physical football team, and we'll have to play our best football to get that very precious bowl win that we want so bad.
Kevin and John.
Coach, you touched on the value of the practices. How do you balance the development time with the time game planning for your opponent? Because I know you set a goal in the beginning of the season to win the game.
You do, and I've learned in the bowl experiences I've had, you can't start preparing for the opponent too soon. It gets a little stale sometimes if you spend too much time working on them. So we'll really try to balance that and have them, the loaded practice in the beginning will be emphasizing more of technique development and fundamentals and we'll just be going against each other, in probably the first half of our practices, and to be able to just get better, get a lot of guys that are younger, a lot of reps. And that's the plan. And as we move closer to the bowl game, then we'll be able to get into the game planning portion. And I think the way this one works out, we'll be able to be at the bowl site, and we'll have a complete cycle of practices, which isn't always the case. We'll be there long enough to be able to have a normal Tuesday, a normal Wednesday, and a normal Thursday, and then a normal Friday prior to kickoff on January 2nd. So when we get to the bowl site, we'll start with a Tuesday practice, that first full day that we're there, and allow our young men to be able to get physically ready for that. And so we'll also, because of playing so late into January, we'll be able to give them some breaks in between and want to be able to have our young men be able to go home for Christmas, which I think is very, very important. So we'll be doing that for them, and we'll let our guys know that schedule here this week. But so I just like the way it plans out. We kind of had, we had several different calendars that we've been working on the last several weeks, and the Gator Bowl was one of them. And so we had a chance to, once we found out today that it was going to be in that spot, then we just kicked that calendar in place and start rolling. So we'll be ready.
John and Matt Weaver.
As far as the contract, I don't know if this is a detail that you emphasize or your representatives, but the $500,000 for the assistant coaches to put in the pool. I mean, how much of a sticking point was that, and why is that so important?
Well, I don't think it was a sticking point, but I do think it was something that we both agreed was very important. And I just think that it's you have to invest in your staff, you have to invest in your people. And in the whole variety of roles that are represented in both the shrink staff and the recruiting staff and the coaching staff and everybody that plays a huge role in doing what we do as a program. So you have to continue to invest in those areas and to be able to be competitive from a market value standpoint for each position. And so I think that both sides were very, very of the understanding that was important.
Well, you kind of talked about a little bit, but I was going to ask about the schedule. I know you guys are recruiting this week, going on the road. When will you kind of start getting back out on the practice field and getting the guys just kind of back in the flow of things?
Good question. So we gave them last week off, and they had 2 workouts with our strength staff and two days to run, but did no football last week. We just really needed some guys to get healthy and rest and just kind of get a break. We went out and recruited, and then had a big recruiting weekend these last couple days, and then we'll head out again tonight. Some have already headed out and are already in homes as we speak. And so we will have a couple days this week of some 7-on-7s, not very long, and do some individual work with our O-linemen, D-linemen without pads on, kind of like a player practice type model for a couple days, have 3 days of lifting, and then we'll start practice on Friday. So we're going to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend of pads. And that will start bowl practice 1, 2, and 3, and then take a couple days off for exams, and then have a couple modified days with some exam adjustments, and then get into the full bore bowl practices.
I guess in terms of health, where are you guys? I know you've got guys like Mike and Coy that are out all year, but guys like Stevie, Matt Bedford, I mean, is there a chance that some of these guys could be back for the bowl?
Well, I will say the January 2nd date, it was very helpful. Every day that we could gain in length from the last time that we played till now is big. So as of today, in talking with our medical staff. I feel really good about Matt Bedford being ready to roll. I feel really good about Samson James being completely ready to go, and Stevie Scott with the extra week basically of the different variations of bowl opportunities that we had. This being the latest one. Optimistic about him. I would say it's still not a guarantee yet, but obviously that it does help that we'll be playing in early January. So we'll know more about him. I'll be able to say more about him probably after we practice for a few days later on this week to where he's at.
Camden, Kevin?
I guess, Fred, for yourself, looking at the past little chunk of time here where you've completed the stadium renovations, the locker room, introducing beer and wine sales, and now with Tom's new contract, what's kind of next on the checklist for you in terms of getting this program to the spot where you want it to be at?
Well, we have, priorities throughout the department. We're really full-blown in the Armstrong Stadium renovation for our soccer programs. But one of the things Tom and I talked about is you're just never done. You never check the box. And you guys have been hearing this from me ever since I got here. The two ways for Indiana football to be excellent, I think, are continuity of leadership and continuity of major investments. And you never rest on your laurels. And I think the $500,000 salary pool increase is indicative of that. Tom and I have an understanding about other things that we'll want to do. And I really don't think there's been anything that Tom has brought to us that we haven't figured out a way to get done, and we'll just keep on with that. Yeah, it's exciting that the new locker room is a game changer. Closing in the stadium is a game changer. I think this contract is a game changer, but we're not done, and we'll continue to make those investments.
One more quick injury thing. Donovan Hale, he didn't play last game. Is he okay?
Yeah, he had a procedure done on lower body injury, and so he would be not available for the bowl game.
And you've recruited really well in the state of Florida, but what kind of further showcase could this be if you guys go down there and play well in terms of showing high school kids and stuff?
We will continue to recruit there, so I think it's big. I think it's really big, and I just think that, it's all about relationships. It's all about those programs down there or whatever state that we recruit to, seeing their young men come to Indiana and be successful. And when they see their, if I'm a coach and I see and I know my players are coming to Indiana and they're being treated a certain way and being developed as men and challenged to be great in the classroom and they're able to perform at a high level on the football field, it just accentuates everything that we're doing. And it just puts a stamp of approval that you can come to Indiana and have a great experience and play big-time college football in the Big Ten Conference and play on the national stage and come down to back to your home state and play in a bowl game, So I just think that those are things that continue to build the momentum of our recruiting down there, and I only see this as a chance to grow that. And so that's why, another reason why I'm very excited about this bowl.
Tom, when you took the chance to become a college coach, did you envision a scenario where you'd be signing a contract like this?
No, it was not really part of the plan, And we, I just think back, to that time and the discussions I had with individuals. One of those being my wife, and all the sacrifices that she had to make. And there were most of those years, she was a school teacher and she had to get a new job every time we moved, and that was 7 moves in 10 years. And she was the one that had the brunt of that. She had to get a new job every year, and because she was making more than I was, most of those places. So small college coaching doesn't really pay a lot, And so you knew that hopefully one day you would have a chance to make a little bit more, but to say that I would ever dream of that or think of that, no, it was really beyond my wildest dreams, to be honest with you. So that's why I just feel amazingly blessed and very thankful, appreciative, but it was never about that. It really wasn't. It never was. And so I guess that's why it just wasn't something that we aspired to. You just want to be able to take care of your family and help make sure that they're having one of our children to have, get a great education and be a part of a good community each time we moved and find a good church and help them continue to grow and develop. That was really the focus. I was concerned about that. And then obviously pay for all the debts that we created over the years of selling and buying homes that we lost money on, which is what you do when you live there for 8 months, So, but I didn't want to rent a bunch either. I wanted our kids to feel like they had a home, So we only did that one time when we didn't have a choice because we'd lost so much in the house that previously when the housing market kind of crashed there in the mid to late 2008-9 time. So, but no, I just think that to answer your question, it's really, really way beyond what I ever thought. So that's why it makes it really special, and I feel pretty blessed.
Cam, last one.
I guess, Tom, for the bowl game, you kind of talked about the balance between, getting some of the younger guys reps versus, actually winning the game. But in terms of the bowl game experience, how much do you value actually winning the game versus just the fact of, you're on a national stage, regardless of result, this is still going to be like an advertisement for Indiana University football being in a January bowl game for like such a rare time in the history of the program?
Yeah, there's no question that the experience and like you said, the stage that you're going to play on, and the fact that we're going to be playing when everyone's going to be watching, and all that means, and the advertisement, as you can call that for Indiana football and Indiana University, is a very, very powerful thing, and that helps. But we're going there to win. I mean, that's there's no question. And I shared this earlier when I spoke on the Big Ten Network, and that is the fact that our leadership council came up with 3 preseason goals for the year, and one of those goals was to win our bowl game. And so that was on the mind of our players. That was on the hearts of our players. That's why when we got the 6th win, they were excited, but they weren't, didn't act like that they had accomplished everything that they wanted, because they didn't just want to get to a bowl game. They want to win the bowl game. So that's obviously the next step. So, you play a really good football team. That's going to be challenging to do. But at the same time, we're going there to win.